What's up, everybody? This is Chris, otherwise known as Music City Driver. Apologize for the glare there. I've got a few minutes on the way home, so I thought I'd just go ahead and record this now. I had a really super busy day at the office because I've been off for a while. And at home, my son, when I get there, I want to play games with him and do stuff like that with him. So decided on the last few minutes on the way home to do my Money Monday installment for the week. Even though it's Tuesday, I know it's late. Yesterday was a holiday, though. January 1st was a holiday. So, as you can see on the screen right here, this is my summary for Uber from Monday, which was Christmas Day, and Sunday, which was New Year's Eve. I didn't work any Monday through Friday, or actually Tuesday through Friday, of that week, just because I just wasn't feeling it, and I just needed the time off to spend with my family and some friends. Got to eat some deer, venison meat, and my son helped to clean. A friend of mine shot him, and we ate him the next day, so you can't get much fresher than that. He actually shot him in the evening the night before, and then we cleaned them and dressed them that night, and then ate them the next day. It was some really good eating. My wife actually prepared them. We brined them overnight, the back straps, in a sink with a bunch of salt, and my wife prepared them perfectly. They couldn't have been better. Anyway, I digress. Basically, the gist is I just took some time off Tuesday through Tuesday through Saturday to hang out with friends and family and just relax a little bit. I was off my day job as well, so it was good. The cool thing is that even though I took all that time off, I still made more, honestly, as much as, or if not more, than I would have made normally, because of New Year's Eve primarily. New Year's Eve had some great surges. I only got like 3 or 4 surge rides the whole night, but those three surge rides were all Excel surges, and therefore they paid quite well. I didn't really have a whole lot of tips. I had about $27 in cash on New Year's Eve. On Christmas Day, on Lyft actually, which I'll show you in a second, I had $25 cash from one lady actually. She gave me $25 in cash and $10 on the app for a Lyft Plus ride to the airport from West Nashville, which was already pretty good to start with. I'll get into that in just a second, but I wanted to go over this real quick. So, as you can see, I had a lot of fuel charges left over from before because I didn't drive that whole week. I usually try to drive a little bit during the week. My fuel charges, a lot of people say, oh, don't use the fuel card, but it actually gives you a bit of a discount on top of any discount that you already have. So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. You're going to spend the money either way. You're going to spend it either out of your checking account or whatever, or you're going to spend it on the Uber card, the Uber fuel card, and it comes out of your earnings. So either way, you're going to have to pay the gas costs. So anyway. So as you can see, I made $564.70. I do those promotions where I send in the pay stubs. Who cares? Hate me if you want for doing that, but an extra $15 a week. I'm not going to turn that down. So as you can see here are my 2 days. I got tips on both days. Monday, December 25th, I only had 5 trips for $129.58, $10 in tips. It was, I had a nice Uber XL ride that ended up being $31.71 with the tip included, a $5 tip, and then a $5 tip on an Uber XL, and that's actually the whole reason I got out on Christmas Day. I wasn't going to work Christmas Day, but that very first trip at 9:49 a.m., the Uber XL with the $5 tip, is actually due to a Facebook group member, not my Facebook group, but a Facebook group that I'm part of, who had a friend who needed a ride from College Grove, which is way out in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, to the Greyhound station downtown Nashville. So I decided to take them up on it, and as a result got a $57.01 ride. When I dropped them off, I started getting requests on Christmas morning. Actually, the requests started coming in on Lyft. Lyft was actually the busiest one. So as you can see, I didn't get any more Ubers until 4:20 that afternoon. I did take a 1-hour break in the middle of Christmas Day to go eat with some family, and then I came back out actually after that. So I drove back and forth. So actually, a lot of this day, which it shows I drove 9 hours and 46 minutes. About 2.5 to 3 hours of that was spent driving back and forth from my house or near my house back to Nashville. So anyway, that was that. New Year's Eve, which was the big one, $420.12. As I mentioned, I had $27 in cash tips as well that day. So the trip earnings was $409.12, and then I had $11 in tips on app. 12 trips, 11 hours and 3 minutes. That's about right. And I did the best of either service, Lyft and Uber, on Uber. As you can see, I had some quite lucrative surges there. One at 2:21 a.m., one at 1:57 a.m. And actually, starting at 12:16, there's 2 rides here that are together, 12:16 a.m. and 1:13 a.m. The reason they're together like that is because they are basically back-to-back rides, and they're almost a continuation of the same ride. I kind of wish they hadn't had me in the ride and could have kept the surge going and gone back into town like that. I would have probably gotten another 20 or 30 bucks off of that, but they didn't. So what happened is, on that 12:16 a.m., I picked a bunch of guys up at Piranha's on 3rd and Commerce in downtown Nashville at a 1.6 surge, I believe it was, 1.6 XL surge. They were going to go to West Nashville, but one of the guys decided that he knew a girl that was going to have a party, and they told him to put the address in. Put the address in, and it ended up being in Kingston Springs, which is 25 miles outside of Nashville, basically. So we put that in. The guy who actually suggested we go out there started looking like he was a little green around the gills there. Asked him if he needed to throw up, if he was feeling okay. Gave him a barf bag, and as we arrived in Kingston Springs to actually the wrong address at first, he actually started throwing up into the bag, luckily, and finished throwing up outside the vehicle. Didn't get any on my vehicle at all, which is good. The other guys decided to stay at the party, but 2 out of the 6 guys decided that they'd had enough, and that they were just going to leave these guys in Kingston Springs, let them fend for themselves, and get another ride back, which was probably pretty difficult to do, because when they tried to request me, although they did request me as an XL, there were no drivers around. As soon as I put my app back on, I actually had destination filter on. As soon as I took that destination filter off, I popped up and got the ride instantaneously. So there was that. So that total ride ended up being $76.20 plus $41.83. You're looking at what, $117, almost $118 and some change, something like that. And then once I finally, because these guys wanted to go back to Nashville, that's the $41.83 ride. They went back to Nashville. After that, excuse me, I got this $106.70 ride. That was a 5.3 surge. This was over by Marathon Motor Works, if you're familiar with that, off of Charlotte Pike, right by the interstate, where the Antique Archaeology is, where this Marathon Music Works. It's a event and concert place. But so I picked up XL, 6 people, and took them out towards Donaldson. As you can see, it's over to the east, that red dot. So it ended up being only a 10.47 mile trip and 17 minutes and 2 second duration. As you can see, it was $106.70. Pretty damn good in my opinion. 5.3 XL surge. I think that is the highest XL surge I've ever gotten. On Lyft Plus, on Lyft Plus in the past, I've gotten like a 650% plus before, but they didn't go very far, so it didn't end up being anything like this. So I almost felt a little guilty about this, but they had to accept it. They were really cool people. They were really nice. No promise of throwing up or anything like that. All night I didn't have, just except that one guy who threatened to throw up, which was great. So $106.70. That was a really nice ride for me. Got back, or actually when I finished dropping them off in Donaldson, I got another ride that was surged for an XL ride. This was over in Donaldson, and it was only a 1.6 or 1.4 surge, but it was still a surge. It was an XL surge, and this was one guy. I've been having this a lot. This is something I did in a video, talked about in a video before. I believe the Uber app actually comes up with the XL first, and when people are drunk, I think they just automatically hit XL because they see the X maybe and I don't know. Anyway, that's just my theory. So this one guy sits in the back seat. He's pretty drunk. Take him to Murfreesboro. It is a 41.93 mile trip, 44 minutes and 52 seconds duration, $93.84. I'll take that all day. A little bit of a wait time, not much, 0.73 minutes, only give me 16 cents. But $93.84 on that ride. After I finished that, I got another XL ride that was another one guy down off of Broad Street in Murfreesboro. If you're familiar with Dodge's Chicken, it's a little gas station. I used to live in Murfreesboro. Picked this guy up and carried him a couple of miles. It was $5.13 was my cut. Gave me a $5 tip on top of it. So that I kind of got stuck in Murfreesboro once I went down there. And I want to go over Lyft briefly. So Lyft, and I know this has turned into a long video, but it's a lot to go over. So Lyft on Christmas Day, after I dropped the lady off I was talking about at the Greyhound station, I got a ping for a Lyft ride. And actually, I'm not trying to pull the Lyft app up. I'm trying to pull the driving history up here for Lyft. I got a lady who was a young lady who was going from in the Midtown area out to Antioch, basically, to go celebrate Christmas because she didn't have any family in town. She was going to celebrate Christmas with some friends, stuff like that. So took her out there. It was a pretty nice little ride. You'll see that reflected on here. If I can get this thing to cooperate, it's lagging on me. So I had 5 rides on December 25th, Christmas Day, for a total of $92.93. Not too shabby for a little bit of work. As you can see, I was only online. I wasn't even online that long. This is part of that day where I logged off and all that. So I got that $7.32 ride. After I dropped her off, I actually had to drive for a little ways to get this ride. It was out west, off of Charlotte, West Nashville. $27.04 ride. It was from the west side of town. I'll actually show you. Over to the airport. One lady had quite a few pieces of luggage. That's why she ordered a plus, because she said that she's had bad experiences in the past trying to shove luggage into a regular size Lyft. And kudos to her for doing that, because that is what you should do. If you have a lot of luggage, don't order a regular Lyft or a regular Uber X. Order an XL or a Plus, because that way they have plenty of room for suitcases. The only time I have a problem is when I have more than 4 people and a bunch of luggage, because then my third row gets folded down to put the luggage in, and there's not a lot of places for people to sit. Anyway, as you can see, I went all the way from the west side of Nashville all the way over to the airport. I got paid a total of $37.04 because she gave me a $10 tip. However, she also gave me a $25 cash tip. Very generous. So that entire ride ended up giving me $62 just on that one ride. So the $93 and something, $92.94, whatever showing my total was, $92.93, does not reflect that $25 cash tip as well. And then I had a few more rides, a few more Plus rides actually. There must have not been many XL Plus drivers out. So I had a $12, $26, $10 regular Lyft. So that was that. As far as New Year's Eve goes, I didn't make a whole lot on Lyft. I really didn't. I got a total of 11 rides. I started getting some good Plus rides over in East Nashville because I got tired of dealing with the crap downtown with the Titans game. I just got sick of it. I'm never again going to attempt to go to Nissan Stadium during or after a Titans game, because it is not worth all the traffic and the headache, people canceling on you, people wondering where you are and you've already passed them and getting mad at you, and it's just not worth it. So as you can see, I didn't have a whole lot of rides there. I actually got more rides outside of the main area for Lyft. Had some good ones, got some good tips there, as you can see. $7 here, $8 here, $6 here. Had one that left their wallet in my vehicle. That was this $22.91 Plus ride. Actually, one of the guys was a Lyft employee. I was taking them from East Nashville over to the Gaylord Opryland Hotel for their 2018, New Year's bash thing. Unfortunately, his friend left his wallet in the side pocket of my door, which I couldn't see, obviously. Luckily, they caught it pretty soon, but at the time I was on my way to pick up somebody else. I'd gotten another request, So I had to tell them to hang on for a little while so I can get back to there to drop it off. And he's like, okay, cool. So they kept calling me and texting me, where are you? I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of a ride. Just chill out. You know, you're the one who left your wallet. I wanted to say that, but I didn't say it. And so I finally get that ride dropped off, and I head out to the Opryland Hotel. The guy comes out to meet me at the vehicle, gives me $7 for a tip. So I charged him a $10 return item fee. You can actually choose on Lyft. On Uber, it's just a flat $15 fee regardless. On Lyft, when you say that you've returned an item, you can actually choose the amount, which is interesting. You can choose $5, $10, $15. There may have even been an other, and I should have probably done the other, but the guy gave me $7 cash, so I just charged him $10, which is a total of $17 to return the wallet. That's not a bad deal in my opinion. But as you can see, this was it says lost and found $10 on there. There's a $7.05 bonus on this because it was in a power zone when I got that plus ride. It was in the East Nashville power. I think it was 40% at that point. So it was like a 40% bonus. The guy didn't pay it, and he still didn't give me a tip. Imagine that. A Lyft employee who didn't tip a Lyft driver. Interesting. But anyway, I guess he figured the lost and found was enough of a tip, even though I had to drive all the way back out to Opryland to do it. Anyway, I digress. That was kind of a jerky thing to do, in my opinion. But, and by the way, just speaking of Lyft employees, he told me something. I child lock my back door on the driver's side because I don't want some fool jumping out in the middle of Broadway or in the middle of a street and, number one, hurting or killing themselves by getting run over by a car. Number two, by knocking my freaking door off of my car. So I child lock it and tell them to exit on the right side. And in fact, I make it an active effort to actually make sure I drop off on the right side, regardless if I'm going to Broadway or any other place. I just feel like it's safer that way. People don't have to get out this door. They can get out this door. It's easier. They're right there right by the entrance or whatever. But he told me it's against Lyft's policy to have the child lock on because a passenger could complain that you were not letting them out of the vehicle. I thought that was a little silly, but anyway. So I learned that. As you can see, there's a big gap here. 10:54 p.m. was the last Lyft I had before I had another one at 3:23 a.m. on New Year's Day. And that's primarily because I was super busy with Uber. And then Uber took me down to Murfreesboro. And then apparently I was one of the only drivers in Murfreesboro because I kept getting Uber XL requests. I kept getting Lyft requests. I got a regular Lyft request. I got a plus request down there at 4 a.m. And then another one, and that 4 a.m. was at a Waffle House, I believe. And then the final ride for Lyft was a 4:26 a.m. Only 1.85 miles. But they gave me $5 as a tip. It was a $3 minimum ride. It was a couple of guys that were going to finish up. They were DJs, I guess, and they were working at a bar off the square in Murfreesboro, and they were going to break down their equipment and get it. So they were really nice guys. Talked to them the whole way. As you can see, it wasn't a very long ride. It was only 1.85 miles. It only took 6 minutes and 55 seconds. They gave me a $5 tip for my trouble because they were nice guys. So anyway, guys, so that was my New Year's Eve and Christmas update there, and I counted it all up earlier, and what I came up with was for that week, I really only worked, maybe 2.5 days total, and I came up with $902.10. So if that's what you're waiting for was the total, that's it. $902.10 between both apps and cash tips. So really lucrative week overall, really, especially for only working like 2.5 days basically. I crammed that into I drove a long time. I was exhausted by the time I got done on New Year's morning, but it was worth it. $902.10. I usually I can sometimes make that much working Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but rarely working just Thursday, Friday, and Saturday do I make this much unless it's like in the summertime. There's a CMA week or something like that. So that is all I have. So please post in the comments below how much you made for New Year's. Did you have any like super big, crazy surges or any crazy stories? Let me know down below what kind of surges you got, what kind of rides you got. I was very happy to get some rides that exceeded $100. That's always a cool thing when you get a ride that exceeds $100. It's only like a 10 or 12 mile trip. I heard of somebody down in Murfreesboro who got or actually they took somebody to Murfreesboro who had like an 8-point something XL, and the trip was $600 and something. They said the fare was that much because they didn't get paid that. I think they probably got paid $400 and something, but still, can you imagine $400 and something just for driving somebody from downtown Nashville to Murfreesboro? That's insane, and I wish I could. Anyway, sorry. The Uber app, I guess I left it. I have a destination filter on. I forgot about that, but I'm almost home now anyway. So please, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was rather long, but I had a lot to go over. If you enjoyed this content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe below. If you, like I said, if you have any cool stories about New Year's Eve, leave them below as well. And if you are looking to sign up to be a Lyft or an Uber driver, I do recommend Lyft's bonus more than Uber's guarantee, because Uber's guarantee, you're probably not going to get anything extra, whereas with Lyft's bonus, you always get something extra, and I get it as well. Every time you take a ride with Lyft, you get a bonus on that ride, and so do I. I think in Nashville currently it was $650 last time I checked, which is $3 and some change per ride, up to I think 60 rides, and I can't remember. Anyway, if you click on the link, you'll see it. So click on the link, and also if you want to try out Mystro with a free trial, check that out, but down below. That free trial is it's a 30-day free trial, no obligation, and they have 3 different ways that you can pay for it now. They have an annual, a monthly, and a per trip account option to pay for that. So check that out. And if you are an Uber driver and didn't get your guarantee, check out at the bottom of my comment or the description there, and there are some instructions there on how you can actually add a promo code after you have already signed up, and even after you've already taken a ride or two. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you soon. If you're out driving, be safe, and you guys be prosperous and safe. Have a good night. If I can get this to turn off.